Okay, let's talk about something we've all struggled with. You know that feeling? You've got this great plan, this new habit you want to build, maybe even a whole new life you want to start. But then the big question hits. How do you actually make it stick? How do you see it through to the very end? Well, today, we're going to unpack why the way we usually try to do this is kind of flawed, and we're going to discover a much more effective way.
First things first, we need to talk about a trap. A trap that pretty much all of us fall into, especially when we're feeling really motivated and ready for a change.
I mean, really think about it. Every single January, the gyms are packed, right? You can barely get a machine. But by March, not so much. We set these huge, ambitious goals, we're full of excitement, and then, just a few weeks or maybe a couple months later, we're right back where we started. Why does this keep happening over and over again?
And the story we tell ourselves is always the same. It's like, I just wasn't disciplined enough, or I guess I lost my motivation, or the big one, I just don't have enough willpower. We talk about willpower like it's this muscle, and if we fail, well, our muscle just wasn't strong enough. But what if that's the completely wrong way to look at it?
See, the very foundation of our plans is often built on, well, sand. Relying on feeling motivated or waiting for a good day to do something is just a recipe for failure. Why? Because those feelings are totally unpredictable. If your entire plan hinges on you being in a good mood, you don't really have a plan. What you've got is a lottery ticket.
So, if willpower isn't the answer, then what is? I actually want to share a little personal story that totally changed how I think about all of this. And funnily enough, it has to do with my teeth. So for almost 2 whole years, I wore these clear plastic trays. The entire process was designed from the very beginning, all digitally modeled to map out a precise course from where my teeth were to exactly where they needed to be.
And this is where it gets really interesting. My job in all of this, it was incredibly simple. I didn't have to try hard or feel motivated. All 50 sets of aligners were made right at the start. All I had to do was follow the sequence. Wear one for about 10 days, then just pop in the next one. That's it. It was a completely automated system.
And here's the thing. Day to day, putting in a new aligner felt like nothing was happening. The difference between, say, tray number 23 and tray number 24 was so tiny you couldn't even see it. There was no single aha moment of dramatic progress. Honestly, most days I'd find myself wondering, is this even working?
But then you put the very first aligner next to the very last one, and the result is just staggering. It is a total transformation. My smile was completely different. All those tiny, almost invisible daily changes added up to something massive and just undeniable.
And that was my light bulb moment. It wasn't one big, heroic effort that changed my smile. It was a huge number of tiny, consistent actions. That's the quantitative change that resulted in a completely new outcome, a qualitative change. The system did all the heavy lifting, not my willpower.
So this whole personal experience reveals a really powerful principle that we can apply to basically any habit or goal we have.
Okay, so here's the side-by-side. Relying on willpower, it feels like a battle, right? It takes a ton of effort, it's draining, and it completely depends on how you feel that day. But a system? A system just runs in the background. It's low effort, it's automatic, and it's triggered by things in your environment. Cues, not by your mood. And this is the most crucial point right here. The most effective people don't necessarily have more willpower than the rest of us. They just get that it's a limited and pretty unreliable resource. So instead of trying to force themselves to do things, they design these intelligent systems that make the right actions just happen, automatically.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually build a system like this in your own life? Well, it's surprisingly simple. Let's walk through the 3 key steps right now.
This is it. This is your blueprint. Just 3 simple steps. Define the context, link the cue, and make the action tiny. It's not about trying to bite off more than you can chew. It's about making that first bite so ridiculously small that you can't possibly say no.
First up, you have to get specific. I'm going to eat healthier is a wish. It's not a plan. A real system starts with context. Something like, when I make my breakfast, in my kitchen, in the morning. Now that is a concrete context that your brain can actually latch onto.
Next, you link your new habit to one you already have. This is a technique called habit stacking. You don't have to remember to do the new thing because the old automatic habit becomes the trigger. You already brush your teeth every morning, right? So what if that action became the cue for the very next thing you do? And honestly, this might be the most important step of all. Your new action has to be laughably small. I mean it. Not read a chapter, but read one single sentence. Not go for a 30-minute run, but simply put on my running shoes. The whole goal is to eliminate any and all resistance.
So let's look at how these tiny systems solve real, everyday problems. Instead of feeling guilty about not eating fruit, you just link washing one piece to making breakfast. Done. Instead of letting a mess slowly build up, you link a 10-second cleanup to drying your hair. And you'll never lose your keys again because the act of walking in the door automatically triggers hanging them on the hook.
What you're really doing here is taking decision-making completely out of the equation. See, every single time you have to stop and decide, should I do this now? You're burning through your willpower. A system removes that decision. The cue happens, and the action follows, almost like a reflex. No thought, no effort, and no willpower required.
All right, we've covered a lot. We talked about the willpower trap, the amazing power of a system, and the 3 simple steps to build one for yourself. Now, it's all about putting it into practice.
And if there is one thing I really want you to take away from this, it's this right here. Forget about the grand gestures. Forget about those short sprints of intense motivation. Real, lasting change comes from the small, almost boring things that you do every single day, the things that are managed by a system that you designed.
So I want you to think about it. What's one small point of friction in your day? One little thing you wish you did more consistently? Don't try to change your entire life tomorrow. Just design one tiny automatic system and let it run. What's yours going to be?